the luxury and excessive amount of spending that comes with being a billionaire, but in this case, a trillionaire is everyone's dream. Who wouldn't want to live a life where you don't have to cut any costs? Imagine how free you would be to go anywhere in the world and also get anything you want with all that money. Well, we will be living vicariously through the subject of today's video as we take a look inside the trillionaire life of King Salman. Hey, and welcome back to the Billionaire Status. If you enjoyed today's video, please drop a like and consider subscribing for more videos like this. Let's get right into the video. Born a prince, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud has always lived a life full of incessant luxury and money. He probably never had to think about things like doing the laundry or even shopping, as he always has been in the royal space where royals have thousands of servants at their beck and call and ultimately get to do whatever they want. Today, he is the king of Saudi Arabia, one of the wealthiest countries, and is the leader of the world's most affluent monarchy. Trust us when we say this, nothing can get you prepared for how lavishly this king flaunts his wealth. But before we go straight into the king's trillionaire lifestyle, let's first talk about how King Salman earned his trillions. In 2015, King Salman bin Abdulaziz ascended the throne at age 79. This was after the death of his brother Abdullah, who was at the time king. Upon his ascent, the control of certain properties, which are the House of Saud, the throne of Saudi Arabia, and the state-owned oil company known as Aramco, were passed to King Salman. Now this is where most of the wealth amassed by this royal family comes from. Aramco is the largest crude oil reserve in the entire world, and right now the royal Saudi family is in control of about 98% of it. We would know that the oil reserve has made the House of Saud extremely wealthy, amounting to a total net worth of $1.4 trillion. Man, that's a whole lot of money if you ask us. Now, all of this inexhaustible wealth is controlled by His Majesty King Salman, which he in turn divided amongst the 2,000 members of the royal family. The House of Saud has been able to build 12 magnificent palaces with part of this money, and the lucky person who gets the throne has access to all of them, especially the three most luxurious ones out of all the palaces. These are the Al Yamama Palace, the Al Auja Palace, and finally the Erga Palace. Let's talk about these luxurious palaces, shall we? Located in the heart of Riyadh, which is the capital of Saudi Arabia, the Al Yamama Palace is King Salman's main headquarters. It serves as both a working area and also the royal court for the king. We cannot emphasize enough the exterior and also the interior of this royal building, as it emits an extensive amount of luxury, modernity, and elegance. The outer part reveals intricate Arab designs that include geometric motifs and arched windows. The interior part of this beauty is not left at all, and it even shows King Salman's luxurious tastes. Inside this building are so many chandeliers hanging out like rare art pieces, an incredible amount of gold, and lush carpets. We do not know the total estimate of this palace, but if we were to guess, it'd probably be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. On the other hand, when the lavishness of this palace becomes too much for King Salman, he moves to a more minimalistic one called the Al Auja Palace. The Al Auja Palace has less modernity and, of course, gold, as it features more old architectural designs than seen anywhere else in Saudi Arabia. But like the first palace, the walls of the Al Auja Palace are decorated with expertly crafted carvings and feature various images of Riyadh. However, there isn't much gold in this palace. What makes this palace stand out and among the most luxurious palaces of His Total Majesty is the fact that Al Auja is one of the oldest palaces in the world, hence it's priceless. The third luxurious palace, which is also gold, is none other than the Erga Palace. The Erga Palace is a reminder of King Salman's ability to recreate more copies of Al Yamamas if he wants to. The Erga Palace is where King Salman receives diplomatic visits, as he was often rumored to have hosted Barack Obama in this palace around the time King Salman was crowned. You know, most regular people would just have paper towels and paper towel holders, at most in metal. But as we know, His Royal Majesty is far from being just regular. As a show of his love for gold, King Salman has a gold tissue holder. and it was spotted during Obama's visit right on a table between the king and the president. This just explains that King Salman's love of gold goes beyond just golden architecture, but also extends to his basic amenities. And if a mere tissue holder can't escape the golden treatment, you can only imagine the bizarre amount of things King Solomon has ordered to be covered in gold. It's one thing to have a few golden palaces, and it's another to own a fleet of aircraft right at your beck and call. Another one of King Salman's trillionaire moves is deciding that he would own and be in charge of 6 jets, which would speak of just how much money is in his bank account. The Saudi king boasts an official Boeing 747-400, a 747-200, a 777-300, and a 787-8. And finally, an Airbus A340-200, which exclusively serves His Royal Majesty. The Boeing 747-400 is one of the largest passenger airplanes in the entire world and was specially customized to suit the king's tastes. Containing everything from a whole throne room to a conference room, gold-plated bedrooms, and various bathrooms, the airplane is said to accommodate at least 600 passengers at once. The average cost of a Boeing is estimated to be $100 million, and since King Salman has 2, well, we'd leave you to do the math. Not to mention, of course, the customizations and gold interior designs included. Remember, his 4 other planes also share similar features. Would you just imagine just how much the maintenance of these planes alone would amount to? All we can tell you is that everything as regards to maintenance wouldn't cost anything less than $3 billion annually. Yet, this is just the tip of the iceberg, and nothing to King Salman because what he spends on his diplomatic trips will make your jaws drop. In 2014, when King Salman traveled to Washington, D.C. on a diplomatic trip, it was said that he booked the entire 222 rooms of the Four Seasons Hotel. And unsurprisingly, King Salman ordered an entire redecoration of the hotel and specifically turned everything that wasn't gold to, well, gold. Ranging from the tables to the lamps, mirrors, and even the coat and hat racks were all replaced with gold ones. And all of these things were shipped directly from Saudi Arabia on airplanes, which may sound crazy to you. But when you have all that money, and I mean trillions of dollars, nothing can stop you from getting what you want. Another one of his luxurious diplomatic travels was the king's trip to Russia. Curious to know more about King Salman's money displayed during this trip? Keep watching and you'll find out. In 2017, King Salman was on a series of diplomatic journeys from Russia to Morocco, Tokyo, and a couple other countries. On each of these trips, the king splurged a crazy amount of money, and quite a show of his luxurious lifestyle was put on display. On his trip to Russia, he brought along with him an entourage of 1,500 people, 1,764 pounds of food, and even his furniture and carpets weren't left behind. However, the main star of the show was the golden escalator that he used to descend from his plane. We would know that regular escalators are worth $8,000 per foot, including maintenance. Just imagine how much a gold one would cost. And an even more interesting thing happened when King Salman's escalator got stuck halfway and His Royal Majesty had to descend the plane like the rest of us. That would have been a sight to behold. Let's not forget the sleeping arrangements of the king and his entourage. For a cost of $3 million, King Salman booked out the entirety of the Ritz-Carlton and also the Four Seasons Hotel in Russia for the comfort of himself and his entourage. Whereas other guests who have made reservations earlier and even those that permanently stayed in the hotels were made to cancel their reservations and temporarily vacate. Morocco wasn't left out of his spending either. King Salman was accommodated in a 74-acre estate, which was undisclosed, and the rest of his entourage stayed in the 800 rooms of the most expensive hotel in Morocco. His Tokyo trip, too, was also an extended show of luxury. Since the king wanted to bring yet again his entourage and the finest things which he would be making use of, he hired a $14 million Lockheed C-130 Hercules plane from the Royal Netherlands Air Force. This military plane was designed to carry military tanks and armor, but King Salman repurposed it for his usage, filling the plane with his luggage and 2 Mercedes-Benz S600s, used as his official cars during his entire stay in Tokyo. At this point, you'd probably be wondering who it was and what his over 1,000 entourage consisted of. Well, as king, you have to have certain needs be met at all times. Ranging from professional chefs for the king to maids and servants of the Saudi princes that decided to tag along for the journey, the over 1,000 entourage are known to even replace the staff of the hotels King Salman booked for their trips. Well, that's all we have for you today on the Trillionaire life of King Salman. Hope you enjoyed watching this as much as we enjoyed making it. Make sure to share your thoughts on the video in the comments section below. And if you enjoyed it, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and tap the bell icon so you can get notifications about any future videos.